Well, welcome. You have made it to the last video in this little mini course on pay-per-view riches and how you can get more traffic for less. That is the bottom line, folks. That's what we want to do, is get a high return on investment. Spend a little bit of money, as little as we can, and yet get as much targeted traffic as possible. And throughout this little mini course, I have shown you that pay-per-view is a strategy that you can use to do exactly that. Get instant, inexpensive, targeted traffic that is interested in what it is that we have to offer. We can get that very quickly. We can get it out to a lot of people in front of a large pool of prospects with the various pay-per-view networks. Of course, in the pay-per-view advertising guidebook, you're going to see a lot of the pay-per-view networks in there that you can use, ones that I recommend myself. We're looking for a very high ROI, return on investment. What you can do with pay-per-view is, instead of paying, $5 for a click or even $1 a click like you do with a lot of pay-per-click nowadays, you can pay as little as maybe 2 cents for a click. And that's almost unheard of. But those numbers are realistic on these networks. Use effective ad generation tactics, what we talked about in the third video. Scarcity, emotion. Use the things that are going to generate spontaneous action. Use the techniques that we talked about that will get their attention and engage them and compel them to act. And actually take a step that most marketers don't take. Sit down and think about who it is that you're trying to get as a customer and customize that creative, that advertisement. Customize that for them. As far as the actual creation of the advertisements, you're going to probably use a lot of graphics. You're going to maybe even potentially use some programming if you're doing a flash presentation. Outsource that stuff. Come up with a good idea and then hire somebody very inexpensively to implement it for you. Elance.com, Rentacoder.com, Guru.com. If you're not familiar, let me tell you real quick about what these sites do. These are freelance sites. And if you need something done, doesn't matter what it is. If it has to do with the internet or computers, you can find somebody to do it on these 3 sites. What you do is you go there and you post your project. Tell them, this is what I'm looking for. I need a creative made 300 pixels by 150 or whatever your dimensions that you're going for. And I need it to do this. I need it to look like this. I want to use these kinds of colors or these kinds of images. And I want it to say this. Put the text on there. And they're going to create it for you. They're going to do all the graphics. If you need some flash stuff done, tell them a little idea, of what it is that you're trying to do. And these people will bid on your project. So somebody might, you'd be surprised, you get somebody over there in the Philippines or India or something, and they'll do the whole thing for you for $20. I mean, it really is that inexpensive. And you get it done, it looks really nice. You don't have to pay unless you like the work. That's the really nice thing about these sites. In fact, a lot of them work on an escrow system. With that, you put in your project, lots of people bid on it, you get to see examples of their work. And then you pick somebody. You say, okay, I'm going to give you the job. Well, you take the money. Let's say they bid, $25 for the project. You could upload that $25, transfer it to the site, like Elance, for example. You put that in an escrow account, and they do the work. When you look at the work, if you're happy with it, you say, okay, go ahead and pay them. And they pay them the money. If you don't like the work, you talk to them and say, hey, I need you to change this, change that. They don't get paid until the job's done and you're happy. A lot of times you can get that whole process done within a couple of days. This is the pay-per-view model. If you'd like to find out some more information, click the link there on the right. You owe it to yourself to check it out and find out, what all is available to you. Obviously, in this small 5-part mini-series, I have not been able to delve into all the details of what pay-per-view has to offer. If you want to find out the rest of this information, just click the link on the right. I've got an extensive resource for you there that'll show you a lot more. And I want to thank you again for joining me. And I look forward to a long and profitable relationship for the both of us. I'll see you next time.